Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 301. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott, the blind dyslexic. What's up, bro?
Nothing. Greetings and salutations.
All right, so we got some massive news today. Arthur Darvill is going to come to the Arrow Flash spin-off series, I believe. And he's going to be playing Rip Hunter, the Traveler. Now, this character is basically described as a roguish time traveler who hides the strains of being responsible for history itself behind a facade of charm and wit. So that's amazing, stretch for him playing a time traveler. Go off the Darvill, man. I mean,
well,
go off the Darvill. Going to be on the CW Arrow Flash spinoff series. That's freaking awesome.
You got now 3 people from Doctor Who as it is, because they've got Barrowman, they've got the gal who played
Alex Kingston.
Yeah, Alex Kingston, and now they've got Darvill. So it's pretty much like they're pulling everybody from Doctor Who and wishing well. And
that's pretty damn cool, man. I mean, I know they're fans of the show too, so that's freaking awesome. I think he's going to do fabulous. I did go to see him on Broadway in his play once, and he was absolutely fantastic. Great experience. One of my favorite plays. Great singer, great actor, played the musical instrument too, amazing. I just wish we would have been able to see him outside like we saw all the other actors. But yeah, he couldn't come out for some reason. But I got to meet everybody else. So
cool.
Of the play. Yeah. We also got big news that Batman, Adam West and Burt Ward from it's actually there's going to be a 50th anniversary of 1966 Batman, so they're going to do an animated movie with the voiceovers of Adam West and Burt Ward.
Oh, so, yes.
How fantastic is that?
Because I know on Facebook there's like this super team up family where they utilize like old, where they're one of the ones who yep, there it is.
That's awesome, dude.
Used him and the television Spider-Man and him and one other. I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's
cool. I got an
autographed
picture of Burt Ward because when I used to live in Iowa, they were up at the Arsenal. At least he was up at the Arsenal. And I wish I knew where. I've got the picture laying around somewhere.
I actually met Burt Ward in a convention. Got his autograph and everything. Really nice guy. So I'm very excited about this, actually. This is going to be really, really good. Good news for that. All right, so we got more news. It's flooding in. The Trickster. Mark Hamill, of course, we know returns as the Trickster. It's pretty soon, right? I think it's what? Is it this week or is it next week?
It should be this week, because it said this week. The 31st.
Right. Well, the big news is not necessarily that he's back, but that he's going to return next season. So this is what I'm hearing, that he's going to return again as the Trickster. So the only clause is that he didn't have to wear that ridiculous outfit or something like that. So
the 90s version. And he's sort of playing sort of the same dude anyway.
Yes. So but in an alternate reality, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess if so that's pretty cool. We also got word that Angel is going to be in X-Men Apocalypse, which makes sense because, Apocalypse turns Angel, he cuts off his wings, and makes him Archangel. Or Archangel. Yeah,
Archangel.
So that's going to be fabulous. Also, a lot of people are getting confused over the Wolverine rumors. Hugh Jackman is going to remain Wolverine. But when he said one last time, he meant that this is going to be the last solo Wolverine movie.
That's what spooked people.
Yeah. So he could be Wolverine until he's 60, because they could always do Old Man Logan.
Past. Because they want to be Wolverine till he's using his claws as canes or
Yeah. So, you know, just think the benefits of doing these movies that are not Wolverine is that you don't have to, I guess, work out as much, because he doesn't have to be constantly on screen. You know, you got all these other X-Men in there. So that's the rumor that he's going to be in an X-Men 4, he's going to be in Gambit, he's going to be in Deadpool, he's going to be, you know, just all over the place. So he won't have to be the main focus of this.
So long as Gambit is a lot better than the X that when we first met him in the one movie.
Right.
Oh.
I know.
The sad thing that the video game version was a hell of a lot better than the movie.
Yeah. And we also got Arya Stark, man. Maisie Williams in Doctor Who. How amazing. 2-parter.
Yes.
Wow. The girl who died and the woman that lived, or something like that. That's interesting titles. You know, I mean, could she be a companion? Could she be Susan? Regeneration Susan? Could be. She could be a younger Clara. She could be a regenerated Susan. Who knows? But a lot of news hitting, man. It's like flooding this stuff that's coming out today. Ryan, yeah.
The one thing I've always been suspicious about ever since the return of the Master or Missy, I always started me thinking about after I saw the last episode, what if the Master's attempt of leaving Gallifrey, he and the Ronnie had gotten merged somehow, and I know it's a far-fetched idea, I admit even to myself, that if they got merged somehow, because we got that little item from which was holding all the dead bodies.
Right. So,
in order to escape, some accident happened, and
it could be.
But like I said, it's just a far-fetched idea that crossed my mind after seeing the final episode.
You never know. We really don't know too much about Missy, but they're questioning: are we going to see Danny Pink return? Are we going to see, Osgood return? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they may introduce Susan again as a different actress or something, because I believe she could regenerate, can't she? Or no? We don't know.
Well, of course, my understanding is this is, of course, going back all the way to the original series. They said all Gallifreyans were Time Lords, but not all Time Lords. All Time Lords were Gallifreyans, but not the same way, the other way around.
But then again, they didn't even introduce regeneration when Susan was there.
True.
They didn't even talk about it, so you really don't know. You know, he could have
himself that helped people were linked to how to have him understand in the new series. It was like the TARDIS that helped him and all this.
He could have stolen regenerations for her, and you don't even know, I mean, we really don't know anything. But, there's also, Star Wars is coming out. That's big. Episode 7 is gonna be ridiculously huge. People, really don't know how this movie is gonna knock everything out. When this movie's about to come out, you're gonna start to see movies delayed 6-8 months, like Avengers did.
And if this movie's as successful as the original 3, you're going to start seeing people doing knockoffs of that sort of. I'm going to call it a reboot. I'm sorry, I'm going to call it a reboot in some manners from these next, because my stomach is still queasy from those prequels.
Master Qui-Gon, what's midichlorians? I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
When Ben Kenobi's trying to talk to Padme, and he's like, he killed younglings.
So does that mean? So does that mean Padme's a cougar?
I don't know. I don't.
Think about
I,
it. When she
I, I,
meets him, he's what?
yeah, she's an older woman. I mean, God, I don't know, man. That's, you know.
In your anger, you killed her.
I mean, come on.
And then they had to put that whole thing through every.
Jesus. But why? You know what that pisses me off? Do you imagine if the first time that George Lucas didn't listen to those Yenta people saying that Han shouldn't shoot first? Like, he would have never did many different alternate versions of his movies. When you keep going and fixing it, you ruin it.
Yeah, because it was so. Because that's what I love so much about the second one is that you did not see the monster which swiped Luke until the very important scene.
Right.
And then they had to go back and this is what he looks like. To me,
That
the whole
ruined it.
not scene was what brought the whole horror and
They ruined it, and the whole part where they changed the whole dialogue in Empire Strikes Back, where the Emperor's calling him, and he's like, "How is this possible that Luke Skywalker's alive?" That wasn't there before, and then like because you gotta acknowledge that that's ridiculous. Like, why do you gotta do that for? And why do you gotta change the ghosts too?
Yeah, that's what
That pissed me off too.
It's so much better when they kept the original, when they had it set up as original. Then you have to have the younger version. And
Then he's got to throw the dialogue in Jedi, which was uncalled for, where he sees his son getting blasted, and he's like, "No, no!" It's like, what are you doing, man? You're ruining your movies. Like, I got the version with Han shot first.
yeah,
And basically that's what it was. You know how many shows basically copied that? Like, you had Firefly, you know? Just threw the guy in the friggin' that was like how someone was. He didn't give a shit.
yeah.
So friggin',
I know.
man. He's just looking to survive. He don't give a crap. It was like, whatever. Come on. He's not going to wait for the guy to miss.
No,
That's stupid.
shoot first try.
That was just dumb. That was one of the stupidest things he's ever done. I thought, anyway. But, and now we're hearing that the Jabba's family could have been in the beginning of Episode 7, which, is there a reason for that?
Mm-hmm.
Like Leia going to him, yeah, by the way, I killed your dad, yeah? Jabba the Hutt? Yeah, sorry about that.
Now I could taking the devil's advocate now. I could understand that as being an extra scene for maybe when it comes to Blu-ray, but putting it actually in the movie, no.
There's no reason for it.
Yeah, it's wasted fodder.
It's just because people are like, oh, we want to see Jabba the Hutt's family. Like, no, we don't.
I don't care about Jabba's family. I could
Yeah.
not care less.
I thought only he was like that. Now you're going to make it like this whole race is like that? Like, whole family. I mean, whatever. How about doing a movie explaining what the F Dagobah was? How about that? How about that? Why don't you have like a whole movie based on Dagobah with like all these Jedi and Sith like croaked there? The Force just screwed up the planet so bad that was probably a rich planet, livable or anything, that it just turned into muck because the Force just basically imploded upon itself and just created this distortion in like space-time, whatever, that just you don't even know what the hell's going on there in that cave.
Yeah.
That's what that should be.
Murky thing because both sides were so opposed to each other that eventually just turned the planet
Upside down, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that, many different Sith died there, So, I don't know, man. But then we got Star Trek news, too. Now, they're saying that they're not going in the same line as Khan and Search for Spock, and that the Klingons can't be the villains, and that's bullshit.
No.
It's the Klingons.
I will say this much. I love the new look of them. When I saw them in
Right.
the last movie, I really loved the new look of how they had them.
Right. But Idris
They
Elba is
had
going
this
to be a
more
cleaner.
alien look to them, opposed to that whole let's have a forehead.
Yeah. That they explained the Deep Space Nine. That's pretty funny.
And I could have came up with a better thing.
And
the Enterprise one.
there is no Star Trek TV series, guys. I'm sorry. You got to be able to sift through the garbage sometimes and know that they can take articles, change the sentence structure around, change it around, and it's the same still freaking article, No Star Trek series. It's not going to happen for a long, long time, because what's going to happen is I have a prediction that this may do good, this Star Trek 3, regardless of what it is, because, we got somebody like Simon Pegg writing it, which I think he'll do a good job, I think. I really want to see a mirror movie. Flat out, like friggin' war, like dang with that.
Yeah.
Federation versus Federation, just like sick. Your greatest enemy is yourself. That would be like the tagline.
Yeah.
Your greatest enemy is yourself.
So, yeah, and you have both, and you have like both Kirk, both whatever it looks like, looking at each other, and
you could basically have the Enterprise in the Mirror universe come out,
mm-hmm.
and then they're like, oh my god, and then they try to invade. And it's like a damn freaking ridiculous war. Enterprise versus Enterprise would be sick.
Here's the poster. You have two Kirks looking at a side shot, of course, looking at each other, and then you have both the Enterprises coming towards you, and of course, it's the whole split straight down the center.
And you know what? You could actually, because it's an alternate timeline.
Firing or phasers firing, but one of those two.
And you could, because it's an alternate universe now,
yeah.
You could have people on the Enterprise die. Like, flat out. You could have Sulu die. You could have, like, Chekhov die. Like, oh my god, it's a different timeline. You don't have to follow the rules.
No.
It could be completely different.
But of course, the only problem with that is you're going to have all the diehard Star Trek fans getting their vaginas all crusty and bitching about it like they did with this last one. But it's an alternate reality, folks.
You don't have to follow. This is what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Why have Khan? It's alternate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it. He could have been someone else. John Harrison didn't have to be Khan, man. That's what pissed everybody off, Scott.
Yeah.
Pissed me off. Then when they lied blatantly.
Oh, God.
How could you ever believe these people?
Come on, just say it's Khan. I mean, and it's pretty much the whole thing. People, you see the dude, and you hear the voiceover and going, by Cumberbatch saying, and you're thinking, that sounds like something Khan would say.
Right. Then they took pictures.
Khan would say, and it's like,
then
no, it's not Khan. Or Khan.
Look at the fake pictures they put up. They put fake pictures. Simon Pegg dressed like a Nazi or something,
mm-hmm.
or whatever. Trying to make it like, is it City on the Edge of Forever? Is it some weird shit like that? Where, oh my God, is it? Was it a Fistful of Action? Right? Was it something like that? Yeah, like.
College, I think.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like So that's it, man. There's a lot of stuff. Even they can even do a reboot of Battlestar Galactica again, and Space 1999, and Lost in Space.
Yep.
And Buck Rogers in here.
I've been constantly putting things out to Facebook, to Big Finish, to do audio dramas of some sort of either $6 Million Man.
The Prisoner.
Huh?
The Prisoner.
Yeah, The Prisoner would be even good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't gotten any word about from them yet, but still, hey.
So, yeah. So,
it's ideas.
Listen, everything old is new again.
Yep.
Gremlins is coming back as a sequel. Gilligan's Island movie's coming out, like 2017, I think.
Poltergeist, which is something of a sequel, something of a reboot.
Right. That's it, man. They're losing ideas. They got ideas.
Really certain because you see little bits and pieces of the original slipped inside the movie.
Right. Hollywood's lost their new ideas. They want to go with what's safe, what made them money in the past. You know, that's why you got like Terminator, like friggin' 5, scheduled for 5, 6, and 7, and you got like, you know, Conan the King. He's gonna have 3 movies for crying out loud. And sequel to like Twins, and like, you know, another Rambo, which Rambo's fighting like a predator-like creature, which is like ridiculous.
Rocky, where he
Rocky, Apollo Creed, right?
Yeah.
So
where he
Flash Gordon possibly coming back with a sequel, Ted 3 besides Ted 2, Family Guy movie that's talking about having another Simpson movie. You know, maybe they'll bring back Starman. Remember Starman?
God, that was a decent
twice they had that. The movie and the TV series.
Yep. Robert Hayes was the Starman.
Yeah, but Jeff Bridges was in the movie, right?
I couldn't hear you. What?
Jeff Bridges was in the movie.
Yeah, the original.
That was good.
Back to, oh yeah, you've got a son, and you're half this, and you're half that.
Right.
Just wondering if they're going to do Powers of Matthew Starr or the Phoenix next. I never could get the Phoenix.
Right. Well, they're going to bring back Manimal. Remember Manimal?
Yes. I've actually got one of those little flip discs of man, where of course it's the actor and it's little flip discs.
Right. Yeah, remember even Automan? Remember Automan?
Yes. That's what I never could understand, is because when they first started off, it's like, oh, he can't come out in the daylight because too much power is needed. And then it's like nobody but this one dude knew about him. And then by the last half of the movie, last half of the series, like his captain knew about him, and he could come out during the day, and he wasn't depleted. That's what was.
That was weird. And then Grace American Heroes coming back.
Yep.
Twilight Zone coming back.
You really can't do anything bad with Twilight Zone, because I remember when they did that and Outer Limits, they all every ending and they linked them all together like into.
Right. What else is coming back? We know more Planet of the Apes, of course. Tales of the Dark Side is coming on CW. Not crazy about that, gotta say. Evil Dead is coming on Stars.
And what's his name? NBC series. Oh, I can't think of it.
Which one?
Oh man, I can't believe I'm brain farting. It comes on before Grimm. Constantine.
Supernatural? Oh, Constantine. Is that coming back in the second season?
Yeah, it's coming back, but they think it might be coming to Sci-Fi, but they're not 100% certain yet.
Right. And the big question is, when is the Jaws reboot coming out? Because that's going to happen. You know Steven Spielberg, they're going to reboot Jaws. You know. Next thing you know, the reboot is E.T.
Yep.
New versions of the old stuff.
And because I mentioned this, I forget who I was chatting with the other day. I said, can you imagine what would happen if Atari had not put out that video game? How successful Atari could have been if they just not put that video game, which I still got a copy of. I'll admit, it's not.
I have it somewhere. Yeah.
But
terrible game.
Amazing how well Atari would have lasted if they just hadn't done. Because I was playing it when it first came out. I says, how is this connected to the movie?
Right. I had the Indiana Jones game too, which was interesting. You had to pull a hole in the side and go to the black market and stuff. And I didn't even understand what that meant when I was a kid. Black market, what is that? And I was like, you know.
He had that strip down the center, and if you touched the merchant, he'd get offended. And if you went down one direction, you went back to the Mesa area. But if and the little spider area, you had to go. You could do one of two things. You could either break the bricks in that little light or you could try to find a little escape tunnel by going back and forth.
The graphics were amazing. Remember the Sword Quest ones? Was it Sword Quest, Earth World, Water World, Fire World, and Air World? It was like one of those puzzle games,
Yeah.
and I never knew what the hell I was doing. Then Adventure had the first trick ever in a video game. You would lock the key in the castle, and you're like, well, how the hell do I do it now? You know, the first glitch trick in video game history. And I figured that out.
Let's see, they had the Atari Force, which I got all the little, of course, I think the first or second little comic book that came with it. The cover had torn off eventually. Let's see, what else? Let's see, we had Dodge 'em, which I cracked the top of my my little container case too. Oops.
Right.
But there's something else I was going to mention. I can't even think what it is now, but it'll come to me.
Yeah. Enduro, remember that racing car game?
Yeah.
Pole position. Pac-Man was the worst on Atari.
Oh.
Worst.
Yes, you had that little.
I said that wasn't Pac-Man, and I didn't understand how I had to go to the arcade to play the real one, and I was so confused. And it's the first time ever I learned that we got cons basically with that. I knew I learned what the word cons was because they just screwed us over with that.
Yeah, just look like somebody took Legos and tapped a little Pac-Man together.
But that's why I loved it when we had Atari 5200 because they actually had the real one.
I just had the 26.
But the paddles, so that was weird.
Yeah.
The Commodore 64.
I played Commodore, and I forget what I played on that off the top of my head.
Karateka or Karate Champ.
Do with you were in a maze and you're trying to shoot the spiders, and you're this little guy that comes in and out of the little bunker.
Oh, that's not like Russian Attack, right? No, that was
No.
What was that? I don't know. There was Impossible Mission. There was Impossible Mission with the elevators, right?
Yeah.
And then there was so many cool games for Commodore. We had the Quest Probe ones with the Spider-Man, the Hulk, Fantastic Four. Well, part 2 of the Fantastic Four members.
Now I remember what it was. There was 2 guys that I think I favored it on there. They were talking about Tenko and the Japanese version of Ninja Gaiden for NES. And
that was a great game for Nintendo.
I love that.
That's like my favorite game. Yeah, perfect. Actually, there was nothing bad about those games. The Ninja Gaiden series. Loved that.
He was talking about how in this Japanese version, it was all printed in Japanese, so you couldn't really read it. But
right. Game was good.
I was trying to look up the cutscenes for those.
The Genesis version of Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, or Super Ghosts and Goblins. Was it Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah.
Perfect. And Sonic, the original Sonic, not the altered ones now from the actual Sonic one for Genesis.
There's a lot of Mojo Vision ones that talk about how certain ones just totally destroyed the genre, and that was in the latter versions of Sonic was the ones which
ruined it. Like Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic 3 was terrible.
I never did pick up any of the Sonic games.
There was some like Altered Beast. I remember getting that with Genesis. I remember getting the TurboGrafx 16, and I bought the Bonk's Adventure, Bonk's Adventure 2, the Splatterhouse. There was Kid Icarus and Alpha Zones or something, or Kid whatever it was, Kid Out whatever it was.
Yeah.
But there was so many games, and then I bought the Dreamcast. I bought the Dreamcast for Crazy Taxi, but mainly for the Resident Evil game that was only released on the Dreamcast. It was the Codename Veronica. Not Codename Veronica X, because that came out afterwards, but Codename Veronica. And that's what they tricked you, just to get the Dreamcast, because they said it was never going to be released ever again anywhere else. Just like the GameCube. GameCube, they only released the Resident Evil 0, and there was something else, I think. But when Resident Evil 4 came out, that was like the greatest Resident Evil game ever. 4. Perfect.
I think my niece had the Cube, but don't quote me at that. But I know.
She had the Cube?
Yeah, she had that Nintendo Cube thing that they only put out a few things up for. And
look what they did with I bought the kids the Wii U when it came out, right? They don't put nothing out.
Yeah, there's hardly any games for it.
Like, that's why you fail. You're wondering why after all these years you fail. Mm-hmm. Because you're not having anybody make games other than yourself. Mm-hmm. Who the hell cares that Nintendo's only... It used to be Konami, Capcom. We used to have some type of partnership, third party, everybody making tons of games. Now when you lose that...
LJN, you had LJN that was out there too.
Right, and then the creator of Nintendo died. Died knowing that the company was falling in the toilet. That they got to put stuff on mobile gaming and do whatever they can to survive because somebody screwed up at Nintendo. And now they want to put out a new Nintendo system earlier than ready just to survive.
Just put out a decent...
Stop it with these stupid names. Get a regular controller, good old-fashioned controller. You don't have to do stupid things with it.
Yeah, you don't have to make...
Create all that accessories later. Just... That's it.
There's hardly any games for even the to be able to use with either the PS4 version of their wand, and I don't think there's very many games you could really use for the Xbox One.
I'm so disappointed that I bought 2 Vitas and they put no freaking games out for it. It's like they just lied to people just to get it out, and they said we're going to support the software. Don't worry. No, you didn't. You don't put nothing out. Why? That's why I'll never buy a Sony handheld again, ever, because they lie. They don't. They need to have people develop games for it. That's how it survives, and they don't.
The one thing I hate about video games today is that the fact that they cost as much as they do. Granted, I can understand them costing as much as they do, like the first year and a half. Granted, it's a new system and you got new games, but by the second year, you drop your price.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, the video games today, they're all done with discs. So why not have those be $40? I'll go as high as 45.
Right. But, yeah, 69, 65, 75. Yeah. What the hell? Do you know the funny thing about that was in 1992, right? I actually paid, and I knew what I was buying, okay? I paid $75 and change with tax for Final Fantasy II for the Super Nintendo. But I knew what it was. I knew it was role-play. Same thing with 3. I was willing to pay that then, but that was unheard of back then.
Yeah.
There was no game like that. That was $69 plus tax, 75, whatever. There was no game like that. Everything was $49, right? I think it was $49.
The original Ataris, they were like what, $10-20 tops.
Just got ridiculous. The price is ridiculous.
Now, if it's actually a special thing where you're getting like a statue, fine.
Right.
But
the Game Boy games were like $20. Game Boy Advance, and then they made them $29.99. Then they made the 3D $39.99 games for a handheld. It's absurd. Absurd. Unbelievable, man. I mean, I haven't gotten anything new lately to video games because the kids just they want to get it themselves. Really.
Xbox for a PS4 or a X1.
I just give them money now, and they just buy. I don't even look out for them anymore, or whatever. They just know what they want. And I just give them, and they get it, whatever. Or somebody gives them money and they buy it.
Because GameStop was doing like a $174 in credit if you want to turn in all the games and all the systems.
I'll never do that.
Yeah.
I used to work for them. I would never do that. Are you crazy? I'm not going to send you back the game I spent like $65 for, and then you're going to give me like $10, and you're going to sell it for
Somebody
$44.
that.
No, hell no, hell no. That's how they get you to keep making money off of the games that are already used over and over and over. And the profitability is like 100%.
I can go over to vintage stock, which is like a hop, skip, and spit away from me, get a game, get a better turn-in with those than I could with GameStop.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. No.
And a buddy of mine who visits...
And the best is if you want cash, you gotta get less money, because it's like, oh, we gotta give you cash. No, we gotta penalize you for that. That's absurd. Oh, unbelievable. That's why they hate. That's why they hate it. By like the video game companies hate them for doing it. Trying to find ways where they can't do that.
With the way things are going today, with the whole download into your phones, give it another maybe 10, 15 years. That's the way video games will probably all be. Is you just simply download them to your system, and if you do a promo thing, you either download that or get it on one of those little USB drives, which you can plug right into your video game system.
I give GameStop 2.5 years, 3 years. They're done, because they're trying to find ways to do them in, and they're not going to be able to survive unless they do drastic things.
Blockbuster of video games.
Well, unless they start carrying other things, that crazy stuff that who knows. You know, they have to change their. I don't know. This is what happens. People gotta change with the times.
And that's what killed off Blockbuster, because they waited too long to change over to their system. And
Bye-bye.
Yep. Blockbuster.
Home video. Blockbuster.
Hot.
A lot of places. Yeah. I miss those days, like when they had the Blockbuster and the Palm Video, and I miss the days when they had arcades. Just I'm talking like whole arcades.
Yes.
Where they used to have the hot dog guy there, make you a hot dog or whatever while you're playing the arcades, little food thing. We had that over in Staten Island because it was by the beach. But they had they had the guy that was like right outside the arcade with like food. And he had like a hot dog stand, which was the perfect, ingenious thing to do, because you could play a video game and eat at the same time or drink. Like the guy made a fortune, okay? And they had like arcades, they had skee ball, they had all this stuff. I loved that. I loved that. This day and age, and they used to have good prizes too. This day and age, you have to go to some other thing, and their prizes are crap.
Yeah.
You know, then we were talking like VHS, VCRs as a prize, or like whatever, stereo systems. Now you get like pencils. It's like ill, you know.
There's the mall which I work at right across the way here. I could tell you exactly where the video game, the video arcade was there. And there's another one which is like maybe 6 miles away from me called Promenade. I could tell you exactly where the video arcade was from there, because you would come downstairs from the food court. There it is. The one here across from me, which is now a Macy's, but it was like literally right outside of Macy's. You just go right around. I don't remember if it went Hallmark, then the video arcade, or vice versa. But I knew it was set up in that general setup, because they had the regular Hallmark, and then upstairs down towards where I work now, they had the Kirkland's Hallmark, and then the Kirkland's disappeared, and the regular Kirkland's Hallmark was down by Macy's now.
Right. There was even back in the day toys were big too.
The arcades, God, I couldn't tell you the millions of bucks, because I know
I spent so much money in arcades.
What was the name of that video game that used which was a hologram with the cowboy? Because I remember I was playing that.
I played that too, and you could be a cowboy, you could be a space guy, and you had the crystals or something.
Yeah, you had to move just right, like a
crap.
Because I was playing that one time, and I had a kid standing by me, and it's like I knew how to play the game. I got up to the second level, not the second level, but the second game, either the second or third game after the Western, and I did pretty good. But I played that on.
It was or was it Dragon Age too? It was like, right? Was it Dragon Age?
Yeah.
Dragon Age. But it was. What was that? The Navigate to Crystal something. I remember. I forget what the name of it was. Crap. I gotta look at it. But
Yeah, I know how you feel.
if you talk about it 2 minutes, I probably could find it if I Google. But you gotta talk about something. So let me.
Okay, because all you had was like the cowboy, and then you had to maneuver around the little joystick because you really didn't have a shoot 'em thing. You had to really just maneuver around, and it would give you always like two. If you did wrong, they said, "Well, this is what you got to do," and then that way, when you go back, you can redo it. Because the
Time Traveler. Wait,
Yeah.
Time Traveler, right?
yeah,
Sega. I got it. 2 minutes. That's it.
because I was looking.
See it?
Hang on. Yep, that's it. That's the game I play. Yep, that's it. Dead on.
That's it, man. I remember
Yep.
playing this. That was great.
That was just, and you could reach your hand literally into that little box there, and oh,
That was
yep.
friggin' awesome, man. That was friggin' awesome. Good old days, man. It was great.
I think was it NES?
That was Sega. This one's Sega.
No, there was another game I played called Time Lord, and you were this guy, and you had to collect all these orbs, and it was NES because I remember I had because I was living in North Carolina at the time. I lost count of how many times I called the NES line to ask help for that. But yeah, oh god, I played that game maybe once or twice whenever I was at the mall or going at Dad's place.
I got it. I got that too. I got the images of that. Hold on. Let me screen share this too. That's it, right? You got it? That's
Yeah.
it, right?
Yep.
Wow, man. That's crazy. This is our childhood, man.
Oh god, what was the Western scene? Because they told me, oh yeah, if you just keep moving up and down this like the far left or right scene, you'd be able to defeat the boss. But yep,
Look at the
that's
Exterminate Dalek. Look at that. What is that?
it.
That's crazy. James Bond Jr. Wow.
Oh god.
Some of that stuff's fake. There was no Doctor Who game back then.
Yeah.
That's just nonsense. Wow. That's our memories, man. That's crazy.
Galgo and Galgo 13. I was thinking about this real funny. Isn't it funny? Stephen Moffat is named after the same criminal from Galgo, the second Galgo movie.
It's funny.
I mean, the second
Freaking
Galgo video game.
silly Moffat. Doctor Who's for kids now. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Viewers, hope you enjoyed me and Scott talking about the good old days on the Everything Show. So we'll be back tomorrow. I got to get some sleep. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Dyslexic. Take care. Bye for now.